to our group in that attracting customers and engaging with customers is very important, and video is a very interesting way of doing that. So Levi, feel free to give a little bit of your background and then go ahead and take over and share some of your thoughts. We've got 10 or 12 minutes where you can present, and then the rest of the time we can leave open for Q&A. We usually have a pretty lively and good discussion in the Q&A side. So I'll leave it to you, Levi. I think you should be able to present if you've got some slides, and you can just share your screen.
Cool. Thanks, Taylor. Just so everyone knows, there's a high probability this will be a train wreck, so take it easy on me. I'm Levi Lindsey. I am one of the co-founders at VidArmy. We make professional content accessible to everyone by making it easy, affordable, and effective. One of our flagship products that really put us on the map was our unlimited video production package for $499. But today I want to just talk about video content in general, and really these concepts can apply for any content, but it'll be kind of heavy on the video side because obviously I'm biased. I'm going to share my screen here. Okay. Okay, so creating content, and like I said, more specifically video content. How to start. So who do you want to watch this video, or who do you want to see this content? Who are you targeting? What do you want them to think and feel while they're listening, watching, viewing your content? What would you like them to do as a result? What is your call to action? And when looking at getting it started at making any content, and video content can be especially intimidating because you're on camera, you're talking, you're presenting, you're making a piece of art that's maybe a little more technical than just writing something out like written content. So it can be a little intimidating, but I'm here to tell you that done is better than perfect when it comes to any form of content. It's like the old adage that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. You don't get any views on not putting out any content or any engagement. If you put out a piece of content and it's crappy, the worst case scenario is you don't get much engagement, but you actually got some engagement, and it's engagement you wouldn't have gotten if you didn't put out the content. So one of my main messages that I want to burn in your memories is done is better than perfect. And don't let perfection or the notion of perfection stop you from action or from allowing you to create content. And so what is your elevator pitch? One thing you want to think about before creating content is, what is the core message of my business? VidArmy's why is we aim to disrupt the status quo to move people. And then from there, we do that by giving people affordable content that is easy and effective to create. And then we do that through our unlimited video production package, our commercial clients, and our e-com bundles for $99. So you kind of want to start with your why and go out. If you've ever seen the Simon Sinek Start with Why, think about the customer and psychology first, and then move out from there. What pain are you solving? What are your benefits and your features? You don't want to just make a video that says, here's all the features you should buy my product. You need to think about, how am I making this person's life easier? What is the person thinking and feeling about what I'm saying? And what's the why behind them really buying my product? I did a LinkedIn post a little bit ago, so sorry if I'm repeating this, but you can't really sell a remote control by saying, look at all the buttons it has. You want to tell people, look at this product I have. It can give you full control over your TV watching experience. And then something else to think about is egos, pathos, logos. Egos is the authority. Am I going to use influencers? Am I going to use someone famous for this video? Am I going to introduce myself as a doctor for this new product? Pathos is what emotions am I going to feel? Oh, sorry, I got these mixed up, but am I going to use emotion? Humor can be very effective in content, especially in videos. People have seen a lot of success through humor lately. And I think that's just always going to ring true. And am I going to use logic? Am I going to speak to people's left brain? And you can employ all of these, and these are all definitely arrows in the quiver. Emotion is one of the biggest. And when creating content, always remember your ROI. Especially in video content, it's easy to lose dollars in video production. We've had clients come to us, and this is trying to sell you on VidArmy at all. I'm just trying to tell you in the industry for video production, we had a client come to us that spent $290,000 on a video. It was an awesome video. It got 400,000 views. And then we had them come to us. We created a video, 10 videos for 800. One of them got 250,000 views. There's also some BYU college students created a video for a tongue scraper. It was $500 to make, and it got, I think it was 7 million views. So nowadays you have the benefit of not having to do things perfect, and really you just should always keep a pulse on your ROI. There's a time and a place for overproducing and for underproducing, and that's something that you really want to A/B test. Where your content lives is how your content should be structured. You don't want to put a 15-minute video. Well, you can't even put a 15-minute video on Instagram, but you can do 15 minutes on YouTube, and that's kind of the sweet spot you want to live in. And YouTube will actually reward you for content that's longer than 10 minutes because they can put more commercials on it. And consistency is key. You want to be consistent across all platforms. All platforms will reward you for posting consistent content, but especially YouTube. And YouTube's awesome because your SEO will get rewarded because Google owns YouTube. And one great thing about YouTube is you can put one structure for YouTube, just a tip, is you can have the climax of your video, the most interesting point of your video in the first 5 seconds, and then cut to an intro and then cut to your video. You have 5 seconds across all platforms to capture people's attention. And if you miss that 5-second mark, you're done. TikTok is a crazy phenomenon. TikTok is obviously its own beast. And the best way I've heard TikTok put is it's basically one big inside joke. And if you don't get it, you're going to miss the mark on your audience on TikTok. And Instagram is a lot more open. You can put artistic stuff on there. There's really not one specific type that does better on Instagram. It's definitely more open, but shorter 1-minute videos obviously do well, and keep in mind to capture them in the first 5 seconds. I guess I already just talked about that. When creating content, one thing you want to ask yourself is, what can I give away without giving away everything? What piece of knowledge can I give my audience that won't give away the entire process? Let's say you're a plumber and you want to grow a really good organic video presence on YouTube. You can talk about doing a quick sink fix that normally would be a job that you wouldn't bother with. And now you've provided value to a potential customer, and now you've been seen as an expert. And that is one of the best ways to grow an organic reach on any platform, is by becoming an authority in your industry. There are no guarantees. So if you spend a bunch of money on a video, or you spend a bunch of time even, there's no guarantees you're going to get traction or views. Virality is a very fickle thing, some content that's the exact same, just in the wrong conditions, wrong place, wrong time, hitting the algorithm wrong, didn't get enough comments or engagement right off the bat, can just flop. And so you want to just A/B test, and frankly, you want to just put out a lot, and you want to do it very consistently, and just see what sticks. And then if something's successful, build on that and take what is successful from everything, and then you'll start to kind of get into a groove and a rhythm. But there are no guarantees. Videos can be produced on a few different levels. There's full production, which is those $100,000 projects. There's mid-range, which is more like your $10,000 to $50,000 projects. And then you've got your DIY, or ones that you do yourself. I'd recommend always starting by doing it yourself and learning a lot about your messaging and what resonates with your customers. And then one cool thing about VidArmy is you can get really good production quality for a really good price. And that is it, folks.
Awesome. Thanks. Sorry, I had some trouble unmuting myself.
Okay,
Levi,
I
thanks so
totally get
much.
it.
No, you're perfect. So one of the questions I had as you were going through that is, do you have any, when you said do it yourself first to figure that out, what questions should you be asking to yourself when you're creating that initial content? Like, what should you be doing or thinking as you're creating your first video content?
Always build out from the customer's mind, not yours. Don't ever don't ever use your own ego. Like say, I'm so-and-so and I know such and such. It's think about your customer always, 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 and then build the message from there. Think about, if I knew nothing about this, um, I have no idea what this guy's talking about. I have no idea about this company, and I have no idea why I should buy this product. Think about, how am I going to break down this message so simply and prick the emotion so quickly and speak directly to the customer, would be my advice there.
That's helpful. So one of the members here, one of my friends, Dale Richards, has created a YouTube channel and has been putting a bunch of content up there. Dale, what has your experience been? Has it been similar to what Levi's talking about in terms of customer engagement? And how have you kicked off that YouTube channel?
Yeah, I knew that even if I didn't volunteer to participate today, that someone was gonna, either you or Landon was gonna volunteer me to comment or
You're
to engage.
welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah, thanks. So Levi, it's good to meet you. I've got I have a channel that is targeted toward softwarepreneurs, is what I've kind of dubbed them. So these are entrepreneurs that want to get into the tech space, usually from the business side, and so they're not necessarily people that have tech background, but they want to create some kind of a SaaS business. Before that, my channel was about enterprise project management, and so I wasn't very consistent when I was posting about enterprise project management, and I wasn't really getting a whole lot of traction on my channel. And at the beginning of COVID, I decided to take, or rather I felt strongly that I should take all of my old content off the channel and start over and to vlog just about software innovation. So to respond to Taylor's question, yes, I want to echo everything that Levi said in terms of thinking about your user and what they want and need. It wasn't until I started doing things like optimizing my video content by title according to search queries that people were entering into the YouTube search bar, that I started to get more hits. And so the channel's grown from I think I had 60 something or other subscribers in March. Now, as of today, I have 444. So I'm just I have this steady trickle of subscribers every week. And so I'm kind of on this upward trend toward 1,000, toward monetization. My questions that I have today are, one is, you talked about virality and shareability. My videos are mostly informational. So hey, if you want to learn how to build your own SaaS product, here is one piece of the puzzle, one nugget that you can take and you can implement on your own. So it's kind of like the plumber situation, scenario that you said, where I'm kind of sharing one little nugget of value. But it's not like a politically charged, video. These videos are pretty matter of fact, you should know about these opportunities in the market. Here's how you can take your ideas and start to execute against them. But it's funny because I look at my YouTube feed and I see I see more emotional videos, that have that prick of the emotion, either if it's because of politics or because of COVID or is it or whatever. And so my question is how can you take informational videos that are mostly like the plumber thing, you know, and increase their shareability. I don't even expect them to be viral, but I feel like I have, you know, people that are searching for these topics and they come watch the video and they subscribe, which is great. So like, yes, I've achieved the objective of getting them to subscribe. I'm meeting them where they're at. So like they're definitely searching for what I'm offering. And so they're finding me and subscribing. That's great. But there's no other like additional action. Like they're not taking those videos and sharing them. Maybe just because the nature of the context, like you don't typically say, hey, I'm going to be a software entrepreneur and I want like everyone in the world to be a software entrepreneur. I'm curious to know about how do you make informational videos more shareable? Oh, I can't hear him.
I think you're muted.
Oh, I was
Okay.
just mouthing. Just kidding. That's awesome, Dale. My suggestion would be, and this is a shot in the dark, but I think those informational videos are awesome and they are what they are and they have their own, they kind of build on themselves as you consistently do it. You'll always have good engagement with those. I would suggest every now and then sprinkling in a more shareable, more generalized video that could capture more people to drive them to those informational videos. So for instance, maybe make fun of like a cultural thing about Silicon Slopes in Utah. Maybe make a funny video about Silicon Slopes, something like that could easily engage and share and become viral in itself, and then drive to your informational videos would be my shot in the dark for you. Yeah.
That is brilliant advice.
Those are cool ideas. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, that's
I'm a genius.
So who wants to help me make fun of Silicon Slopes? Anybody?
Oh, I'm
Just
in.
kidding.
You can count me in.
Yeah.
I'm there.
Another thing that you said that was interesting about how YouTube rewards videos that are longer than 10 minutes. I've always kind of tried to keep my videos shorter than that just so that people won't get exhausted. But that's a great new insight for me is that YouTube can actually better monetize videos that are longer. And specific to monetization, there's that requirement that you have to have, you know, like 4,000 watch hours within the last 12 months before you can monetize. I'm wondering what thoughts you have about getting more watch hours and also getting people to watch your videos all the way to the end. I've been looking at other like how-to videos about that, like how do you get people to watch more, or you know, why it's important to have people watch more of your videos. And they say that like, you know, any video that gets like a 50% average watch rate, you know, or above 50% is good. And that's where I am. So I feel like, well, according to what everyone else is saying, I'm doing something right. But still, I'm curious to know if there are things that I can do to increase the kind of the retention of the audience once I have that.
That's interesting. Taylor, I don't know if I'm supposed to be answering all these questions or not, or if it's like an open discussion. Sorry if
You're the expert.
Definitely open discussion. But if you have any thoughts and any of the experience that you have with any of your clients would be super helpful. But yeah, anybody in the group can answer the questions.
I'll leave that one open. I don't have a super good thought on that one yet.
That's actually really validating. If you don't have thoughts on that, I'm at least I'm like pushing the frontier. So sorry, I interrupted somebody else.
I was just going to say a lot of times, so our videos are long, and generally speaking, a lot of them are replicate. They're live calls that then we go through and people watch later. We get a lot of people to stay on through those simply by incentivizing it with something, hey, at the end, we're going to have this secret. They're constantly being, just like in a sitcom, like you're teasing them out to keep watching. You're going to give them these, and then you have to deliver on that thing that you've promised them, an intrinsic value. But that gets people to stay on through the video. You really gotta find that capture and push.
What are some of the things that you found to be effective, Sarah, in motivating or providing that kind of that carrot?
So obviously it kind of depends on some of, which company I'm helping do this. Ours, a lot of time it's like, it's a content drive. So we'll say, hey, those who stay on with us live are going to get not only our ebook, but also, engagement email copy to be able to apply. Or if they're then going to go back and rewatch it, hey, you won't be able to get our guaranteed email copy unless you join us live, but you can still get our ebook and you'll learn how to build these campaigns all on your own, blah, 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 blah.
Cool.
Right.
And so the value packet that you have in addition to whatever it is that they've come that day for looking for.
Yeah. And then the other thing is really making sure that you deliver those promises that you did in your ad. So whatever it is that drove them there to that video, you have to deliver on that thing. So, if it's, hey, come and learn our 3 secrets for whatever, deliver the 3 secrets. Don't do it right away. Tease that out as long as you can.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm going to think of some cool value offerings that I'm not going to just include in the video, but as follow-on, so people will watch all the way to the end. That's great.
Can I ask a follow-up from Sarah's comment just now in terms of the tease? I have a certain attention span, and I'm sure that other people here also don't like being strung along for the, but wait, there's more kind of tease. It's really irritating when someone is saying, and have you looked at this? And it's like this finger follows this finger. It's like, enough already. Get to the point, deliver on content, don't tease it out for the sake of the Ginzo knife exactly, or anything else that makes people feel like it's a Ronco Propel ad rather than content delivery on interest. How do you capture the interest, keep it going for a length of time, but not lose people because of too much tease?
Dale? Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sam.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, it doesn't have to be part of the technical teaching either. You were asking earlier about how do you, breathe life or emotion into your stories. And I spoke in Munich one time, and I speak on IP strategy. There's not much more exciting or boring, one of the two you choose, than that. But I started out my speech with some pictures, and I said, hey, today I'm going to talk about a missile threat, a hatchet accident, something else, and being chased by a bear. And if we have time, I'll talk about the IP too. And I kind of worked some of those stories loosely into my presentation. And at the end, I said, oh, sorry, we don't have time for the bear story. We'll have to do that one later. And at the end of the day, they actually brought me back up and said, we want to hear the bear story, which I wasn't, I sort of did it for that reason, to get the attention. I've done something like that where people chase me down afterwards, like, I want to hear the bear story, So that, it doesn't have to necessarily be, oh, wait, and we'll teach you the 3 top secrets. It can be, well, I want to tell you about this one customer who had an awesome success, but first we got to get through these things. And at the end, I'm going to show you how they applied it, or, I'm going to tell you how that saved my life, or whatever. Right. So just some thoughts.
Yeah, so very relevant content.
Well, and
I
got a comment real quick to make too. I think, just in the context of what everybody's saying, because I think that there's an important distinction that everybody needs to be aware of. I think when you're planning your videos and your various content, you have to recognize, is the video the product or is the video the advertisement? Both are relevant, and there's no problem with having product videos and advertisement videos. I think you just need to recognize what is the product that I'm selling and what is the advertisements that driving people to the product that I'm selling. And there's different messaging. Your product isn't going to be humor videos, but your advertisement to draw people to your product videos could be, just as an example.
I was also going to say, Hallie, with regards to that, And I understand what you're talking about there with the, I don't like to be strung out as is, sometimes like get to the point. At the same time, remember ShamWow made millions with this, like, hey, come and see how neat ShamWow is, or whatever the heck it is. You got to remember, just because that's the style that you like doesn't mean that that's the style for everybody. And so you really want to vary some of those things. Sometimes we have real catchy, stupid videos. And sometimes, just like what Levi was saying, like, so throw in, you know, a silly video that's going to get engagement, where you're giving it to them punchy and fast, and have other ones where it's longer and drawn out.
Excellent, Sarah. So following from that, it's clear that different pattern, different pace, different content delivery styles make a difference, and tailoring it to the message and to the type of information, as well as to the presenter's style, can make a difference in terms of the effectiveness of anything that one does. Great. So I think we all agree on that, yeah. Follow-up question, if I can ask the question in terms of intellectual property and copyright protections on materials. How much, if I'm last week presented something and the producer cut off the copyright from my 4 slides that I used for materials, I'm concerned about presenting that on other media, including posting it on YouTube and circulating it. And I've been told it's a decent intro video, but I need to just figure out what protections do I need, or does anyone need to make sure are there in order to essentially broadcast it. It is original material.
I mean, I don't know what Levi wants to say about that. I would push back on whoever produced it to say, can you please add that copyright statement back onto the video, because it's your property. And it's not hard. Like, it's not like it's too late. Even if the video's already been produced, exported, whatever, to just put it back into Premiere Pro, add a copyright statement. You know, it doesn't have to be the same, you know, look exactly the way that it did on your slide, you know, but just the fact that it's still there. Like that should be a non-issue to make sure that that statement is added. Like, I've had people come back to me to say, so for example, when I produced a demo video for a SaaS solution that I had built about 2 years ago. And I recorded a screenshot of it to create this demo video, and it had some PII of, so it had like the name of one of my beta users. And she wrote to me saying, hey, is there a way that you can take that out? I don't want my name or my organization's name in your demo video, which I totally understood. It was my fault. I just kind of was in a hurry to get it done, and so I overlooked it. So I just went back into the video and I put like little blur field over that area so that you couldn't read the name anymore. Like, it's stuff like that you can do in post-production to respect people's rights for intellectual property and privacy should be a non-issue. You should always be able to ask for your property to be protected, or for your identity to be protected.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would echo that from Dale. I would also just make sure you do as much of that on the front end so that you don't, it's just easier to just think about that stuff before you post it than it is after the fact, for sure.
I see comments. Oh, sorry. I was just gonna say, I see comments about like equipment and stuff like that, and I'm sure Levi can give better recommendations. But like since Levi was talking about DIY, how can you experiment with like the equipment? Is that what you're gonna ask? Ryan, it looks like you're nodding your head, but.
Well, not so much the equipment, but moving towards DIY. I know just a lot of us have entrepreneurial backgrounds. I've experimented with a few different ideas, short videos for more specific clients or prospects. A couple programs I've used have been like Cloud App and Vidyard. Just thoughts on anything that you have for, you know, just kind of an entrepreneurial mindset of, hey, how can I, in my own laptop with my own, what can I do as far as videos? Because, you know, that's been a big push for me and my firm as of late. So just kind of curious on the do-it-yourself kind of front.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Dale.
You go ahead, Levi. You know, you're the professional, and then I'll talk about like what it's like to be the DIYer that doesn't have this, you know, the background that you have.
Oh, I was just going to suggest, and it looks like Dale's done this, lighting and audio are really important. And I would also, I said this in the thread, invest in a faux wood background or a faux brick background, something that looks nice. You can, for pretty cheap, make a really good setup in your in-home office that looks really nice. But then when it comes to the actual content itself, um, going back to just always focus on the client and providing value. And if you can provide value, then you've done a good job. Always speak to what the customer wants or your potential client wants, not what you want from them. Those would be my two pieces of advice.
And add to that, the content, I would totally agree that content value is so much more important than production value. But I felt so self-conscious, you know, and I had to do what Levi said in terms of, you know, done is better than perfect, you know, like at the beginning of my channel, I had to just say, okay, or rather at the beginning of my reboot of my channel, like at the beginning of COVID, I had to just say, okay, it's not going to be perfect, but I'm going to focus on the content, and then I'm going to incrementally improve the quality over time. And before that, like 3 or 4 years ago, when I first started, I bought a light kit. So I bought these white boxes off of Amazon for like $200. They were okay. I still use them. I switched out the stands that go underneath them, so they'll be a little bit more stable. I only really use one of them actively right now. I only need one of them, but and then but I wasn't really pleased with how they looked with the Handycam that I had. I wasn't pleased with the way that the lighting came together or didn't come together. I wasn't pleased with how the quality of the shot looked. It wasn't until I started experimenting with my wife's DSLR and learning how to manipulate like the aperture on the camera and the frame rate and the shutter speed and ISO. And once I was able to, it's not hard. You just watch some YouTube videos about how to manipulate the camera and to balance shutter speed with like the aperture. And then after a while, you can dial it in and get to a place where you're pleased with how the video looks. I invested in some things like a boom mic stand for my audio recorder. The audio recorder was a present from a neighbor of mine. He had like 3 that were surplus from his university, and so he gave me one of them. So like, I didn't even spend any money on that. And then I bit the bullet and I just subscribed to Adobe Premiere Pro, and I've been using that in my editing. So I don't know if that helps, Ryan, but I think if you can just start producing the content and then improve something about the composition every time, pretty soon you'll feel really pleased with how it looks, and it'll come across as looking really really professional, even if you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, I definitely subscribe to the done is better than perfect. And you know, for my company, they're looking to put out longer videos and kind of blog pieces or whatever they want to do. For me, it's more targeted, right? Like I have a specific prospect I'm looking at. Like, hey, I want to go reach out to this company, and wondering about any kind of targeting specific thoughts you might have that way. One challenge I feel like I'm running into is getting people to either open up links or open up small MP4s or whatever, and just trying to get them to watch the video. You know, it's a short, you know, I'll say, hey, this is less than 90 seconds. Check it out. Any thoughts on, you know, getting bites?
My advice there, Ryan, is come up with a really intriguing line. Our line of unlimited video production for $4.99 has always gotten us, people click through for that because they're like, what in the crap are you talking about? So you got to disrupt the status quo and break through white noise, or you're never going to get people to click. One way we've also done this, and this is maybe more in line with what you're doing, Ryan. One time we made custom thumbnails for Ryan's, John's, Joe's, Abby's, and it said, hey, Abby, push play, and it had a play button. And then we uploaded them all unlisted to YouTube. And I said each name, hey, Ryan, I'm so excited to share this message with you. And then I would splice it in front of a message. I did that for like 1,000 people, and it landed us some pretty awesome clients. And so I'm not saying do that. That's a lot of work, and there's some editing involved, obviously, but there's ways I think you can get creative. Maybe the biggest point I'm trying to make is figure out a way to break through that white noise. I get tons of things in my inbox. Use humor and be quick and precise. Speak directly to that thing that they're looking for and do it quickly, and then lead them into the video. That would be my advice on that one.
Yeah, perfect. You know, and that's one thing I've tried. I don't want them to ever feel like, hey, I'm trying to trick them to come to some link that, you know, could be malware or something crazy.
Right. You don't want to, yeah, it can't be scammy. It's got to be legitimately a good catch.
Yeah, and that unlisted on the YouTube is what I've been trying to do with anything that's a little bit larger. Anyways, it's starting to come around. I've trying to get a few things going, but I appreciate your thoughts, Levi. And
it's definitely a log.
I'd add that maybe if you know that you're making content about what people are searching for, then even if people may be concerned about, oh, is this link a legitimate link? Like if it really answers a question that they have and they've been struggling to answer themselves, they might overcome their fear of what might happen if they click on that link because they really want the information. And one way that I do is I just start searching for the topic in YouTube, and then it autofills and gives me suggestions on what people are searching for. And then I use those as my video titles. So I get an exact match between my video title and what people are searching for, because I know they're looking for app ideas to make money. They're looking for user story workshop. They're looking for whatever that topic is that is part of the problem they're trying to solve. Like they're searching for information about that topic right now. So if there are enough people searching for it, it shows up in the autofill suggestions on YouTube. And so then I take those and use those as my keywords. So maybe if you want to hone what it is that people are looking for and then use those in your emails to say, you know, like we're going to speak about this today. At least that's one way to validate that a lot of people are concerned with whatever the topic is.
Yeah, that's great.
This has been awesome. So typically we'll shut down around 11:45, but we've had some really good discussion. So I wanted to let it go a little bit longer. But Levi, is it okay if anyone who has additional questions just reaches out to you, and what would be the best way for them to do that?
He just left.
Oh yeah, I just saw that.
He asked people to get in touch with him on LinkedIn. So that's the best way for us to ask him more questions right there.
Perfect. Thanks, Hallie. I wasn't looking at the chat, but I appreciate that. But thanks everybody for joining. Really appreciate your time, and hopefully this was helpful for you. We'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everybody.